Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. And I still can't see you there because I'm looking at a camera and I can't actually see you. You can see me, but I can't see you. Is this even going anywhere? I don't know. Welcome to Your Talk.
Hello.
Icky's in his own world, singing his own songs. We'll be fine. Yeah, there are just three of us. We're just it's just a three-way. Nothing to see here.
What? Nope.
What?
Nope.
What?
Abort.
No.
What did I say? I don't understand. Yeah, it's just me, RESULKA, and IKIFOO this time around. And Pickle Dog in the chat. Hi, how you doing? Welcome.
Oh, hi, Pickle Dog.
Hopefully the stream is looking a hell of a lot less stuttery than it was last week. I apologize for that. I couldn't actually see that. I was just looking at my Streamlabs on which everything looked fine. But I've cut down on the resolution and the frame rate and even the bit rate, so hopefully we'll get the kinks worked out as we progress. This is, after all, only our second live stream. But yeah, let's see. Coming up, we will be talking about Abandonware. And the ins and outs, pros and cons, what have you, therein. But first, let's get to some news. And Trolls just misses all the good episodes, doesn't he? Because this is the second, I think, YAR talk that he's missed in which there has been Beyond the Steel Sky news to report. And specifically, they have released a new trailer, as well as some alpha gameplay footage, which I'll show you right there. There's a look at the trailer. And
fantastic.
It's looking really good. I'm looking forward to it. What do you guys think?
Looking quite telltale at the moment.
Yeah, it is. It is. I can see what you mean.
In terms of pure, minute-to-minute mechanics.
Yeah. Here's the gameplay. Both of these, as you can see, from IGN's YouTube channel. I think they said they're going to have an animated comic that's going to be a companion to Beyond a Steel Sky.
Okay.
Which would be
I thought this would be the...
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. But that I re-listened to the interview, which this is being played over an interview with Charles Cecil, and he said they're actually going to have it as a companion to it. This isn't, despite the looks, it's not going to be the animated comic. There are two separate entities. Have I made this complicated enough?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's start at the beginning. What's a video game?
Oh, shit.
We discussed that last week. We discussed that in our first episode. Come on, man, pay attention.
Yeah. Sorry, the egg on my face.
But how do you think, just based on what we're looking at here, how do you think this is going to shape up to Beneath a Steel Sky?
I don't know, really. I mean, they're only showing us one area, and it's not very much like what we saw in the Beneath a Steel Sky. I mean, we saw stuff like this in the intro, I guess, but in a different art style, obviously.
But I mean, in terms of...
that was the animated comic book.
In terms of story and atmosphere. Because we know this is the same guy from...
without the goggles on. He just looked like a gigantic goofball with them on, and I was just like, nah.
Hey, those will serve a practical purpose in the maybe post-apocalypse, I'm not sure.
Yeah, for those wondering, this is the same guy from Beneath the Steel Sky.
Yes. Same thing.
And I think there was mention of Link being in the game as well. But yeah, I'm
burbs.
I'm looking forward to it.
All the burbs.
All the birds. Yes.
So what have you guys got?
The verbs for the birds.
It'll be interesting to see, especially considering it's a continuation, 2 decades after the fact? 3? God damn.
3. 1990.
No, it can't be 3.
Oh, I am well aware I'm getting old this week. Believe you me.
Yeah.
I have had severe evidence.
1990, I believe the video said.
Nah, I'm older than that.
Dan Nastic says, IGN's interview seemed to promise a bit more than a Telltale adventure. Yeah, we weren't saying it was going to be one. We were just saying the look was reminiscent of it.
Yeah, what I meant was walking around conversations.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a bit more... less reminiscent of Telltale to me, more Dreamfall chapters. Just that whole narrative, third-person experience in a 3D world. Hopefully it's not going to end up like... Not Dreamfall chapters. Not that I dislike Dreamfall chapters. I liked it a lot, but a lot of it was, like kind of like, we have to pad out this game. This is going to be a long, epic game. And then it's just kind of like, well, by the time that you've revealed your, big draw card near the end, most of this stuff beforehand makes no sense whatsoever. I would have just gone floop, floop, floop. So hopefully, less of that, or if I'm actually engaged in what the storyline is.
Yeah, that is something.
I don't think I'm going to be.
It's something I don't bring up when I talk about the length of games. Is older games could be accused of having a fair bit of padding in them, as if there was this unwritten rule of games have to be this long, otherwise it's not worth the money. Like, I remember it being a big deal when Call of Duty 4 was said to have like a 6-hour campaign or something like that.
Yeah.
That was
you look at it like an RPG, and that's nothing. Like, I remember like Baldur's Gate being like over 120 hours of gameplay, and just being like, Jesus, who has the fucking time?
Weirdly, RPGs seem to have survived through that. Like, a lot of other games have gotten shorter, especially adventure games. Like, those go down to you can beat them in an evening type of mark.
Well, I like to think of like a good adventure game should feel like a good movie. Like, it shouldn't feel too long, because like really when you think about a movie, they feel long, but they're only like 2.5 hours to 3 at most. So,
usually, I mean, it really depends on what story you want to tell.
Usually,
like,
if your name is not Peter Jackson, they're usually 2 to 3 hours long.
I mean, I can get through Day of the Tentacle in half an hour, but I'm gonna. If that were my first time playing it, I would miss so much.
Yeah, I remember saying when I did my Myst retrospective, I was surprised at just how short Myst actually was. But then again, of course, that had to do with me knowing the puzzles inside and out. It was only like 2.5 hours long, thereabouts.
Hey, Summer.
Hey, Summer, how you doing?
Hello. Oh, hey, you.
Ohio.
Oh, hey, oh. Ohio.
It's Japanese.
Oh, so it is.
Yeah.
She's pandering to me. Don't mind her.
Still could have been an extremely cute just way of saying, "Oh, hey."
Hi, Is that racist saying that? Anyway.
No. Let's not. Let's just go with cuteness.
You're ruining the threesome here.
You have to stop pushing this, okay? There are significant geographical borders in making that happen, for starters.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's also the fact that Wanderer will come after you for coming after our man.
Oh, jeez.
Bring it!
Carry on. Don't mind me.
Yeah.
Oh, were you tuning in to see an intelligent discussion? What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So, to try and bring some form of sanity back to this, Lamplight City keeps getting the award nominations. Francisco posted recently it got a nomination for the Mixed Vision Story Award at Gamescom 2019. So, congratulations to it. Wishing it all the best.
Most of us know him personally.
Yeah.
He's been on once or twice.
I mean, we were hoping he was going to be here tonight, but the weather worked against us.
Yeah, it almost worked against me. It was starting to thunder like 30 minutes before we started streaming.
It was thundering last time that we were streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Nice. It's bad for that. I mean, even
So,
we've had thunder, and that usually just does not happen. We have overcast, rain or sometimes
more
snow,
rain.
and that's about it.
Yeah.
Also more rain. Yeah. How could I forget about that one?
You said you saw a game coming out, Inky?
Did I indeed?
Black Side
I
or
believe
something?
I did. Yes. It just caught my attention through my various Google alerts that are set up.
Oh, that's right.
And
Amongst the point-and-click cameras and all that.
yeah, the thing is, when you set up a Google alert for point and click, you sometimes get things that are not entirely relevant to what you're looking for. You can understand why they ended up in that search, but it's not what you're looking for. Anyway, blatant padding aside, call back, sort of, not at all. One caught my eye, which was a game called Black Sad. All one word, one capital, Black Sad. I can't remember if I'm flipped on the camera or not.
Yeah.
A detective game.
The game.
You're a cat.
Mm-hmm.
No. If you want emo the game, there's the one I tweeted out earlier. where it got advertised a game called Death Guards and Blood Harvest.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
The most,
Almost seems like a parody than
Let's
anything
talk
else.
about that one
Yeah.
next. Tell us more about Black Sad.
I don't think
Summer's got the link for
that
you.
I don't think that would strictly be an adventure game, judging by the screenshot. Black Sad, noir detective game starring a cat.
Of course.
Looks like, noir detective with a cat head. I don't know it myself. It's set in the 1950s. It's based on an existing graphic novel series.
Oh, nice.
It could be interesting. It certainly looks pretty. But
I seem to remember that
beyond
was on the
that-
Hypermeter we discussed last time. That was one of the
Oh,
games on
was
there.
it?
I think so, yeah.
Damn, I couldn't remember. But what can I say? It had an interesting name. It had a cat. It caught my eye.
Yeah.
I don't know if it says when it's coming out. Talk
let's
amongst
see.
yourselves.
Yeah. Summers sent a link in the chat. We can check that, see if that brings
After
us
the
anything.
Wikipedia, yeah.
November 5th is when it will be releasing.
Oh,
Ah, very good.
so just after Adventure X.
Speaking of the chat,
Yeah, bonfire night.
how are we looking to you guys? Are we looking stuttery at all? Just want to check that real quick. Get some proper motion going on.
Motion.
Whee! Silky smooth here. All right, cool. We fixed it. We can go home. Bye. No.
I am home.
So am I.
I've been home for a while. I don't know if I
you?
mentioned this.
Or are you?
Summer's probably not going to be able to come to Adventure X because of fucking Brexit.
Oh, that
Fuck.
sucks.
I
Don't
have a
just
plan
love
to hide behind a
politics.
Scotsman.
Are there
All
too
right.
many people hiding behind Richard?
Yeah.
I don't know
Richard
how
hasn't
that
agreed
started.
to it
but
yet, but
Well, speaking of games
would.
and adventures and nominations and awards and things and stuff, and I'm just padding till I can bring up the website. Hey, here it is. Apparently, Adventure Jam 2019 wasn't as over as we thought, because Laurie and Corey Cole and Ian Dallas, the judges for the most recent Adventure Jam, have released their top 3 picks for said jam, which is going to please that one commenter from the previous video to no end. You turn your Adventure Jam, Adventure Jam.
yeah. Don't sound bitter, man.
I'm not better. What are you talking about? Let's just get to the site. There it is, and we'll just move that out of the way. But yeah, there's Laurie and Corey Cole's top picks. They've got An Eternity Reflecting for their first pick. They say charming story and text, nice music, good if slightly simple puzzles. Then they got Starstruck at number 2 and the Inanimate Mr. Coat Rack, easy for me to say, at number 3. And they got an honorable mention for T for 2. But they had individual notes on all 5 of the, or all 10 rather, I can count, of, I'm assuming this is the top 10 overall games from the Jam. And going down here to number 5, we find Brexit Man, which I can't help but notice this.
What does it say about the
this
voice
phrase.
acting?
Yeah, it's slightly annoying. That's that. I see. I see.
Yeah, that one.
You know, I never did like Hero U. Anyway, moving on.
Sorry,
also-
who's cancelled?
They also got a note.
Interesting to see how the opinions of people who literally got paid for doing exactly this type of game. Well, not exactly this type of game. They're known for Quest for Glory, but you know what I mean. You know.
Yeah.
They also got a note for Escape Pong, which I actually did finally get around to playing, by the way. And they say it's more an arcade game with a story, which that fits. That fits based on what I played of it. I did like the story. It was interesting, but holy shit, fuck the controls. It's momentum-based movement gone mad. To hell with that. And then heading down to Ian Dallas's notes, he's basically got the same top 3 as the Coles, but with a different entry at number 2. He's got an eternity reflecting up top and stately groan at number 2 rather than starstruck. And, of course, the inanimate Mr. Coatrack at number 3.
Wow, those are some notes.
Oh yes, they're a bit too long to go into here.
So this is how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you can check that out on the Adventure Jam 2019 page on Game Jolt if you want to read through all of these.
So we don't know how he felt about Brexit Man.
Yeah, I'm sure he enjoyed it. Summer says Dimension and Brexit Man were the best. Thank you, Summer. Thank you, Summer. Summer's got taste. Thank you,
Summer.
Dog says that we need a list of games with prominent cat characters list. Okay, so let's go through these. Gibbous, which came out very recently, that's got a talking cat in it. Spoilers for the first 5 minutes. Let's see. Well, there is obviously the upcoming
Black Sad.
Black Sad. I wasn't looking it up. Night in the Woods. There's multiple ones in there as well, isn't there?
Pickle Dog says they managed to offend half the SQH Discord.
Oh, is that all? Oh, we'll have to try harder.
Yeah.
And of course, there is Franbo with Mr. Midnight. Such a good boy.
And Summer quoting Brexit Man. Brexit Man in airport land! I will quit the fucking game! I
thought it was just her reaction to the...
I forget who did those lines. Anyway.
I mean, they sound really handsome. I don't know why I get that impression.
Yeah.
Were we doing something? Oh yeah, threesome. Anyway.
That's
not now.
I didn't read this.
If not now,
show notes.
I really hope Brexit Man ain't visiting on October 31st. No, you're safe. You're safe from him. Now, just back to maybe we should move on. Anybody got any other news to quickly move on from this?
Nothing in particular.
Okay, well then, how about I move swiftly on to super happy fun happy game time?
Nah, let's not do that.
What the hell have I put in my pipe? I don't know. So yeah, happy fun happy game time, and we're bringing it back an old classic, which we have played all of twice before. But we're doing a spoonful of Moon Logic once again. This is always fun. And before, what I would do is lay out a scenario which would normally have quite a simple solution. For instance, you're going into the supermarket to get some cereal, but it's in the top shelf. You're too short to reach it. And we would just Moon Logic the hell out of it. And normally I would just go to each participant individually and see what they have to say about Moon Logicking it. Easy for me to say. But I felt like mixing it up a little bit. Plus, we've only got 2 other people here anyway. And so I decided to make it sort of a free-for-all, and we can all just sort of contribute as we get ideas. But the scenario, the problem. You're going into the bathroom to take a shower. Get cleaned up for, I don't know, some event you have coming up. But, oh no, the water doesn't work. You don't even have soap nearby. What do you do? How will you get yourself clean? And while they write down their names, I'll play some.
Given that this scenario basically happened to me like a couple of months ago.
There you go. You got experience.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't the last one of these that we did about a shower as well?
Nope.
No.
I don't think so.
Oh no, that's right. It's just that I had that leak in the roof, and basically I made that my alarm. That's right.
That was getting cereal off the top shelf, and I think locking your keys in the car.
Yes. Was the locking the keys? That was the last episode, wasn't it?
Probably. That may be why I don't remember it.
Okay.
Which, if I did remember it, I could use it for this episode. Shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
Taking nothing was salvageable from that, like not even an audio version.
No.
God damn.
Well, I mean,
OBS done you dirty.
It might have been. No, I don't think so.
What do you mean, kind of a cheat as IKIFOO is a Scotsman?
Wait a minute.
What are you trying to say, Dan?
You say he's used to being dirty? What's going on here? Pickle Dog says, "Is there hand sanitizer in our inventory?"
Not seeing it written down here on my own.
Oh, what have you got in your inventory?
I have alcohol.
I'll say
You have alcohol. Out of all of us.
I'll say you've got a bottle of hand sanitizer, but it's only got like a few squirts left in it. It's not that full at all.
What about dishwashing detergent?
Any and all soap you're either out of or you're about to be out of.
Okay.
Okay, so clearly what we need to do is nip down to the kitchen and find some vinegar, some baking soda, and an
Some lighter fluid.
unspecified third chemical that's, it's lighter fluid. Combine those together
Right.
so that you can just do it very quickly in the sink, let it slide down the drain before you toss a match in there to cause a small explosion and
Just a small
clear. Yeah, just
A tiny little mushroom cloud.
just a tiny little explosion, and hopefully help to clear out whatever's blocking those pipes.
Right.
But I have a funny feeling that's not going to be the end of it, is it?
No, I don't
Be
think
something
so.
else.
See if the chat's got any ideas.
Okay.
where
So
do we go
currently,
from
what
there?
Right.
I have a couple of different suggestions, but three different approaches. So either you can, this is the path pronged way. You can either take off
This
your
is the
tie,
Grindyslav method, multi-paths.
or the mine
It's
method,
okay to
if
stink.
if I ever get to finish the game. But you can either take your tie off, wrap that around the thing, and yank for good old life until the whole shower head pops off and it just free sprays across
Yank
the
for
wall.
good old life.
Or you got to yank for your good old life, but or you go outside and just roll around in the dirt, have a dirt bath.
I've never
That's
understood
the opposite
concept.
of a bath.
Yeah. I've never understood the
You
concept
can't, like,
of
what's
that.
it called? It is a the whole idea is that basically the friction of it comes off, and then the dust just falls off you because it's not actually attached to your skin. I don't know if it works that way, but that's the idea of it.
I don't think it does.
It doesn't. Otherwise,
Not at all.
millions of little kids everywhere would be the cleanest little fucks everywhere when they went out to play in the yard.
I know it worked for my cat. I've seen him do it many, many times. But apparently it only works for cats.
Summer says,
but,
ask to use your neighbor's shower and soap. Let's assume your neighbors all hate you.
Well, then you have to sweet talk them by making them hate each other. So that they help you
Interesting.
to spite each other.
Because normally it would be do them a favor, but no, just find a common enemy.
Well, it's
Or
moon logic.
create
Because,
one.
you know, like the logical thing would be to be their friend and talk them into it, but the moon logic would be make them hate each other so that they secretly help you to spite each other.
Okay, so there's another solution to this.
Good night,
You
Summer.
fill
Thanks
the
for
bathtub with
coming by.
cornflakes.
Okay.
Uh,
And then you drink alcohol and then you forget about getting clean. Perfect.
well, I mean, that was my plan for tomorrow morning, but oh well.
Pickle Dog says,
I don't even
dish
have any
soap and
cornflakes.
sugar is surprisingly effective at getting stubborn dirt off. Wouldn't help here since there's no dish
Hello,
soap.
Dee.
But can we do anything with the sugar?
Dee Dee, we're not going to kill
Oh,
you.
we've got sugar.
Like, I'm
sugar
just-
scrub, people.
I'm,
sugar
I'm
scrub.
just going to point out, I didn't think
Oh.
we'd need to say it out loud, but we're not going to kill anyone.
No.
It's not going to happen.
Except with laughter. Hopefully.
Maybe.
We're not? Okay.
No, just the
Not
coals.
that type
and
of threesome, man. No, not even. Why would anyone kill Igor? Igor's a lovely person.
What, from
Good lord.
From
Dracula,
Love
the
Kills.
hidden object? Okay, right.
Oh, okay. Maybe the other Igor though.
Yeah, that.
From,
He can die. Twice.
Igor we leave alive. Igor can go fuck himself.
yeah.
So basically, what you're going to have to do as another solution is to turn your oven on to full blast to get every piece of tinfoil you have and place it strategically around the kitchen at various intervals.
Uh-huh.
Then you open up your freezer, place some kind of tray below it. In fact, what you'll probably have to do is get the cat litter tray, empty that out into your neighbour's yard, and that's a timed puzzle, by the way. Make sure they're not
of course
looking.
it is.
Yeah,
course.
There's always got to be one.
Why wouldn't it be? Why restrict this to moon logic? So you have the cat litter tray underneath the freezer, and eventually the freezer will melt enough water to fill about a 20th of the cat litter tray.
Right.
And then that'll be clean, so your cat will be happy. It really depends on whether you want to use that water or not. So better stick that into the kettle once you've replaced the plug on the kettle, because said cat chewed through it and somehow lived.
It happens.
And of course, to do that, you need to sneak into your other neighbour's house to steal a plug from there and actually unscrew it from one of their appliances. They don't have a spare line around. Then that's how you get the neighbours to hate each other, because you just blame them for your various misdeeds. So with all that, you now have, well, non-working pipes that are probably even worse after you've exploded them, and a cat litter tray full of, let's call it, less than clean water.
Right. Well, if you stuck it in the kettle and you got a new plug for it, you can boil it, right?
That's where I was going with that. Yes, thank you. You just making sure you're paying attention.
Right.
So
sure.
you boil that water, and so
and then pour it on yourself, and you just scald the dirty skin off.
Yeah. So once you apply some lemon juice to the whiteboards to double check what message you had on there at some point but scrubbed off, you can find the secret combination to get into the chest where that wizard gave you the miniaturization potion.
Wait. If you're using the lemon juice on the whiteboard screen, that's going to clear whatever message there was there.
No,
it's
magical. It's magical. And it's like so fucking magic. You
Suddenly
don't even
we've
know.
placed our bathtub in a wizard's tower.
I've got it.
Oh,
Simple and effective, but probably what most people won't think of. You get a lemon, you cut it up, you put salt in it, and then you go to town. Because that is one of the best cleaning detergents out there. You don't need anything else. Just half a lemon, salt, scrub.
I'll just do it under my nails, on my arms, and my arms.
So, RESULKA with a nice simple solution, but I think I'm giving the points to IKIFOO since he went all moon logic.
I managed to spitball for longer despite not finishing.
He survived longer in the moon logicking regions.
Explosion down the pipes was just to get the freezer.
Even Pickle Dog says it makes too much sense.
Cut up that lemon, put some salt on it, and just throw it.
It's over. It's
yeah,
over.
but I'm giving cleaning advice now. You want people to come over to your house, get a lemon, cut it in half, scrub it.
I don't want people to come over to my house. Not people I don't know anyway.
Why would I? Like we had a dude come knock at the door yesterday, right? And our dogs were outside barking at him, and
of course.
He's standing first of all at a fair distance back from the door for some reason, but he's going, "Hey, I was just walking down the neighborhood. I'm asking people if they'd be interested in home security." I'm going, "We've already got."
Well,
some.
I am now, you creepy bastard.
We've got 4 bits of home security out in the yard, in case you haven't noticed.
Yeah.
All of which would like to rip your throat out.
16 legs worth of home security.
So yeah.
Many wolves.
Truly a hallmark of moon logic, says Pickle Dog. Thank you. The Icky solution wins by sheer virtue of involving 3 different household items just to get one person clean. Yep. that pretty much sums it up.
Don't let me make games.
Yes, let's get him on the game design straight away. Let's get him on Joy of Adventure.
And speaking of games and designs and things that should be abandoned, that was a horrible segue, but Abandonware, let's talk about that.
Yes.
So, first off, to those watching that may or may not know what it is, mainly may not know what it is because explaining it to those who do is kind of redundant, but anyway. Where was I going with this? I have no idea. What is Abandonware?
Explain Abandonware.
Yeah, what he said. In a nutshell.
Wait, are we doing it?
Yeah. Yeah, you're...
Abandonware. Abandonware is the process of a game that has been out for many years that basically the company just goes, nah, we're not going to do anything else with this anymore. Go to town. We're not going to charge anyone for using it or playing it or downloading it or all that jazz. I mean, back in the old days, back when I was first dealing with the abandonware, I didn't even realize it was a thing. I just went, hey, cool, free games.
There are games I can download. I mean,
I think we all kind of did.
I would say that's more of a definition of freeware, like when the original company has said, yeah,
well, see, this
it's
is
cool,
the thing,
we ain't selling this. Go to town.
There's a couple. Well, there's a couple of different. So there's the where the developer actually comes out and abandons it and says, "Fuck it, we're not doing anything with this anymore." Then that kind of does classify as freeware. But then there's we haven't done anything with this 3 years. Don't ask us about it.
They just kind of let it lapse.
To say. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a fair few reasons why you might have something in the abandonware cycle. Usually, I find the definition that I go with is that it was released at some point and it's not currently being sold in any form, whether it be digital or offering physical copies. But a lot of the times how this ends up happening, apart from on eBay, yes, but official avenues. Partly because it's just old and they don't think anybody cares about it until they suddenly decide their lawyers need something to do, or it's simply a case of this company went bust, this company got bought by this company, which got bought by this company, and who actually owns the rights is such a tangled web to figure out that it's considered not worth it for anyone in particular to go ahead and actually try and sell it.
All over.
Yeah.
There's a game called Callahan's Cross Time Saloon by Legend Entertainment that literally Josh Mandel said, look, when they sold the company, no one bought the rights for it, and now the company is closed. So who knows who the fuck actually owns that anymore? Yeah. So go to town, download Callahan's Cross Time Saloon. Game designer approved.
Couple of good points in the chat. Pickle Dog, appropriately enough for what we were talking about in the news, he says Beneath a Steel Sky counts as the most formal kind, as Revolution gave permission to the world to take it for free, which I think isn't it available on GOG for free?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought
probably,
so.
Yeah.
And
we also did that with Lure of the Temptress, but people actually want Beneath a Steel Sky.
Yeah. And Dan Nastic brings up the point that I wanted to get into next. He says it's not legal, but it's not exactly illegal. So that's what I wanted to move into. Where I guess do you guys stand on the legalities, moralities, ethics, or lack thereof?
About preservation. Well, there's the preservation side of things where it's kind of like, well, these games are going to, go away. Like, if the company's not going to support it anymore and no one else is going to, put the effort in to host it in any way, these games are just going to get lost to time unless someone buys them off eBay. If they're still available on eBay, private collectors and all that are just going to be like, well, this is mine now and I don't have any responsibility to upload this. So, fuck you. I'm out. But the preservation side of things, there are a lot of abandonware sites out there. Some of them these days, because what's it called? There's Home of the Underdogs, which was ye oldie classic.
Yeah.
I spent many years of my high school years there. What's it called? When I was captain of technology. Hello. At my school.
Humble brag.
Basically, it was a lot of yes, you must all bow to me or come to my office. I have a detention slip book.
What did we do?
2003.
We kept talking about having a
Yes, you kept talking about having a threesome.
Yes, come see me in my office. I have a detention for you in the year 2003. But basically, it ended up being an underground, what's it called, abandonware thing, because it was just kind of like all my reps were just like, well, there's nothing really you can do. I'm like, well, we have Home of the Underdogs. Let us go around and install games on every single computer, but let's hide them. And then there was some coded messages about how people to actually get to the games and all that.
Right.
But,
a game in itself, you might say. You probably won't.
I started young. But it just even just thinking about Home of the Underdogs just takes me back to being in a school uniform, wearing a tie. Yes, I went to an all-girls school.
I see how that tied together then. That's why you got a tie solution for the Super Happy Fun and Happy Game Time.
I don't know how to tie a tie.
Did I get
My
it
dad
right?
used to do it. Yeah, my dad used to do it at the beginning of this. You know what's it called? The season, and I would just like loosen it and tighten it for the entire year.
See, I never had school uniforms.
Learn.
I never had to deal with school uniforms.
What was that like?
Well, I mean, we had to deal with the dress code. We had to have our shirts tucked in and wear a belt at all times. And in high school, for whatever reason, we always had to wear ID tags. Why?
Well, what's it called? So, like, we still had a dress code on top of our school uniform because all girls school, and the girls basically all wanted to make their skirts super, super short. So they would all like learn, sewing and all that so they could hike them up. And then they'd have to do like, all right, we're going to have to measure this because this is looking more like a belt than a skirt.
There's something really weird about it's like, I think that skirt is too short, but if I go over there and measure it, it's going to look really bad. And how long have I been staring at this girl's bottom? This is not going well. Maybe we just abandon this policy entirely.
Dan Nastic asks, any games you fear will be lost in time?
Like
I have a feeling that there's
Bugs
a lot
and
more
Taz?
FMV games that I'm not aware of, and I will never find them.
I mean, I've got that worry already.
Yeah.
There was some kind of quote along the lines of, like the first, what's it like? Something like, since the 20s, 50% of filmed motion pictures have been lost,
Right.
just from a complete lack of preservation.
Yeah.
And as Gemini himself knows, that's a big problem with early Doctor Who.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say BBC were particularly bad. Like, not even like even before that. Like, in terms of the Goon Show, which was a radio show, there was something like just under 300 episodes, and I think there's only 140 of them still kicking around because like they didn't record. Like, they recorded and they streamed out. They performed
Broadcast.
They performed. Yeah, they broadcast them. So many words now. They broadcast like probably like the first 20, but didn't actually record any of them. And then like from there it was like they had some of them stored in one certain place, and then it was either a fire or a flood, and they lost all of those.
Which,
as opposed to Doctor Who, where they would either reuse the tapes or confuse the word store with arson.
Yeah, and which that wasn't just a BBC thing. That happened over here too. A lot of shows from the 50s and 60s, particularly game shows, the tapes were either wiped or reused which it's sad, obviously, but I mean you can kind of understand it too because there wasn't any home recording devices back then. They didn't have any idea of the popularity of the shows.
I think it's just a thing of new media. And I don't mean new media as in capital N, capital M. I mean, when a new media form comes along, they're so focused on making it work in some form. It's just like when television came along, they were like, oh my God, we're broadcasting the signal out to television sets across the country. Great. Have we recorded this in some way? We were a bit busy.
Yeah.
We didn't think of that.
Yeah.
And I worry a lot of that is going to happen to games as well. I mean, we're already running into this kind of problem when it comes to trying to do remasters. And someone says, okay, where's the source code? And the original developers are like,
And even if they do know where it is, you might have a situation like with Al Lowe and Activision. He was trying to sell the Leisure Suit Larry code on eBay or something like that? Or he was just auctioning it off.
He completely wrote.
And Activision,
vast majority.
Activision, who have done nothing with the franchise, I don't think, said, nah.
Yeah, well, they recently sold it, but yeah. What was I going to say? That was just all of, like, Sierra's ending was, like, so many art assets and all that. They just binned them. And, like, what we know of, like, Sierra now in terms of, like, well, we've got this and this is because people who were working at Sierra basically went into the bins and went, well, if you guys are throwing these away, we're just going to take it.
Yeah, we fucking care about these, you savages.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pickle Dog
So
says
we've
we still got to come
stuff.
up with a way to preserve Flash games, which interesting you should say that because Icky and I were talking before the stream about Newgrounds, how
Yes.
We were
they're
talking about
what
a
is
little bit
it
of that last
buying?
week ourselves, but yeah.
They're buying a Flash player or making their own. What are they doing?
I've heard it read in so many ways. It might be the standalone Flash player that's been reskinned. It might be an open source project they're doing themselves. But essentially, it's a standalone program you just download and run, which can run Flash. Essentially, that's the long and short of it.
Right.
If you go onto Newgrounds right now, hashtag not spawn, some of the things you see will have a link that says, launching Newgrounds player. So without having to, let's face it, compromise your internet browser, you can still witness some of these early internet
Games?
fucking madness.
So the people that do play those meat and F games gonna still able to keep playing them.
Has that actually made it into a video? Because I know we've talked about it amongst
We
ourselves.
talked about it during the stream during what's it called, Full Throttle.
Oh really? Jesus.
Oh, did you miss that?
I
Let me
must have not
enlighten
got
you
to
later.
that one yet. I'll look that up later.
In an incognito window.
Yeah. No, fuck it. I'll open up the sandbox. I'm not risking it.
But going back to Dan's question, any games you fear will be lost in time? Yeah, actually, there's quite a few, not necessarily modern, but more recent games that have just sort of fallen by the wayside and have really like gotten sequels that they might deserve or what have you. Like a game I keep going on about, Aquaria. I loved that game. It was so beautiful, and just that fucking cliffhanger ending. Why? That's another thing that's sort of kind of tangentially related. Why, unless you're damn sure, like 100% positive, you visited with the Oracle, she has told you you're going to get a sequel. Don't put a fucking cliffhanger ending in your game. Leave it open-ended, maybe, if you have to, but don't put an actual cliffhanger. That annoys the fuck out of me.
See, what I thought you were going to say there was, aside from hashtag Toonstruck2, was things like, always online DRM or MMOs.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
like sport pretty much has gone away, hasn't it, because of all that?
you can still play it. Like, I don't think it was...
Yeah,
in some form, I'm not sure exactly how it worked. That had Sekirom, didn't it? Maybe they just put in a different version of that was offline and terrible because it's Sekirom. But yes,
and also Spore.
A bunch of true. There's just a bunch of MMOs that had this required online component, and unless the developers themselves release something that's basically anything that can act as a server, like whether it's the source code or an executable.
I felt that way about Hellgate London. But I mean, obviously that's recently come back through Steam, although I still haven't actually played it since I bought it.
Expedition.
Yeah, maybe. But no, it was mostly just that I got chased off it by a bunch of dickheads.
Well, hell, we still need to get the rest of the episodes of the current expedition out, Wander.
Yes, Dave.
Cough, Wanderer, cough.
He said he was working on it the last time I spoke to him about it, but...
Well, he's busy tonight, so we'll not begrudge him.
Yes.
Just yet.
Well, I think he's sleeping now. He's been out all night.
Of course, it's morning for you.
Oh, sorry. Hey,
Time zones are hard.
Yeah, and they're about to change again in a month and a bit.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much.
So, yeah, I don't think I can honestly say I have any problem with anyone downloading Abandonware. Like, from a legal standpoint, you can't really say it's legal, but except in very specific circumstances where somebody who has a claim to the rights, a majority claim, more than likely, if not entire, has said it's okay, in which case, by my definition, that's freeware. And that does happen on occasion, like the original Fool's Errand went that way. One Must Fall 2097 was declared as freeware. How it I think usually ends up being is it becomes abandonware because there are enough people who have claim on the rights that nobody can jump in and say you can't, you can't sell that, it's mine, and then there would be a big argument. So nobody can sell it, but if you put it up for free downloads, nobody's going to jump in and say I want a piece of those profits because
Right.
fucking aren't any.
Exactly.
Well, I know that, like, what's it called? Generally, what the abandonware sites do now, because like there was the big old ESA thing that came through many years ago, where it was kind of like you can't do this, you can't do that. These all have rights, blah 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 blah. And so what they ended up doing was anything that ESA could prove a claim on, that they. This is when we were talking Home of the Underdogs. They would just take the link away, but they'd leave the page so you could at least read about it. But these days, it's kind of like, well, if it's actually for sale, here's a link to GOG, or here's a link to where it's actually on sale. And we're not going to give you a download for it, but we'll leave the page up so that you know that this is that type of game.
Yeah, that was an essential part of the Home of the Underdogs experience for me, is that you had the game, not just the game name and a download link, you had the description, you had screenshots. Did they have user reviews?
Talking about how it worked. Yeah, they had some reviews, and they also had like,
I remember
that. Biographical, like kind of like there was like the Wikipedia of games before Wikipedia was a thing.
Right.
It's probably a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like when they did
yeah.
take down a whole heap of stuff, like when they did take down stuff, then they'd just be like, well, here's the article, you can still read about it. So I was like, oh, good. So then
oh my god, they have the same site design as. God,
is it still up?
Last year, 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
New version of it is.
So Home of the Underdogs, the original Home of the Underdogs closed down, and this is actually a reinvention of it. So they tried to preserve as much of the look and feel about it. It does not work on mobile, as you might not be surprised to find out.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can still use it, but it works as a desktop. It has no mobile interface at all.
Well, I mean, I think if I were going to visit that site, I would probably be more likely to want to use it on the desktop. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll just download this ancient DOS game onto my phone. That won't go wrong. Right?
Man, I remember
working.
spending so much time there.
No, Ancient DOS Games is the wrong show, wrong channel.
Yeah. But like, what's it called? It's one of those things as well that about Abandonware, especially in the early days, where it was kind of like if stuff didn't quite work, it was like a whole thing of working out how to get it working and then helping other people to get it working. So like, what's it called? Eagle Eyes Mysteries. No one could get the digitized voices to work, and I spent a lot of time in DOSBox working it all out. And then I had a whole guide, and that I think it's still part of the Home of the Underdogs part of it, how to get that game running with all sort of sound. So. It's like, you felt like a community even though you didn't really know anyone else on it. It's just like, yeah, there's other people like me.
But I keep going back to Dan's question, and I can't really think of any classic games, per se. Nothing's really coming to mind that I'm afraid of losing. I think anything I can think of is available on either GOG or Steam.
Well, this is the thing.
And they keep adding more things all the time.
I'm more worried about losing things that we don't know about. You know, the stuff that only had small markets that, like, say, for example, Synergist. I mean, obviously, Synergist, people backed up Synergist and, you can find it and all that. But you can't buy a copy of it online. You can barely find a walkthrough for it online. But that had a limited release in Europe for some reason. And, if we'd never come across it, we wouldn't know that we were missing out on this amazing gem of a game. And, so it's more about the fact that these smaller things that didn't quite get backed up, if you don't know about it, then you don't know about it. And without abandonware sites or people actually trying to preserve stuff like this, then you're never going to know about it.
There was a game I played a while back. I forget exactly. I think it was like late 90s, but I played it when it originally came out. It was, I think it was more or less a mist clone from the little I remember. It was called The Crystal Key. And I just sort of stumbled upon it. I was looking in a supermarket and just found it in the bargain bin section for $5, so I picked it up, and it was interesting. I played a little bit of it. I don't think I beat it. But I've been looking for that game ever since to review it, and like you can find like one listing of it on Amazon for $10, but other than that, you can't really find it anywhere. It's not on GOG, not on Steam. The only place I found it is on an Abandonware site. I forget the exact link, but it's on an Abandonware site. So, yeah.
I mean, like, I'm kind of afraid that I'm never going to find a particular game I remember playing that was, I'm pretty sure it was shareware, but the disc that I had it on snapped, so I literally can't go back into it.
Yeah.
But I know it was like a post-apocalyptic Wizard of Oz game that was also had elements of, Lord of the Rings in it, and it was like a 3D maze. And
Let's just shove all the fantasy elements in it.
Yeah, but like it was a 3D maze that you walked through that was also a a text adventure. So you would get to certain points of the maze where you would be able to find things, move objects around in 3D. And this was like Windows 95? No, maybe it was even 3.1. But I literally, I've tried so much internet searching, I cannot find it anywhere. I can't even find anyone talking about it. It makes me feel like I dreamed it, but I played it like 3 or 4 times.
And it doesn't help when you have these things obscured by something else. Like, it turns out I had a Mavis Beacon game. Well, Mavis Beacon teaches typing for kids. And I could not find any information on it because there had been another release with a very similar name that completely overshadowed it. So that probably explains why my video on that did so well. Even if I did name the profile something utterly profane, which I won't mention here. I did forget I changed it up. The reason I named it that is
the other one
even more profane. Yeah.
Well, there was also what's it called? The Living Book series. It's kind of like some things are also kind of obscured by history. So there's the Living Book series where there's, I think, 12 of them that people really know about. But due to like samplers and all that, there's at least 3 or 4 that might exist. It's kind of like I can't find them anywhere, but they're listed here as able to buy. So it's kind of like without people actively trying to find things, we'll never know if these games actually existed or not. So, and I want them because that's how I make my money on YouTube.
No, really.
No, really.
Go check out our Patreons.
Yeah, we need active historians, I think.
We've got one, but he ain't here.
Yeah.
Well, he's very focused. Is the problem?
He's very focused on his wife this weekend. Yes. And Space Quest.
The Space Quest historian's wife's historian.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, just got a couple of situations like that. Like I think it's the Amiga it was for. An Amiga game called Portal. Good luck finding that.
Yeah. Nice and simple name. Yeah, that's not going to be hard to find at all.
I mean, they did it first, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, like, what's it called? There's also, like, there's stuff like The Scroll. It's just, like, you try and search up anything about The Scroll and you just get the Elder Scrolls and you're just like, no, I want... I mean, luckily, that one actually has a secondary name because it originally came out first as a not CD version that was just called Daughter of the Serpents, which I think is a better name than The Scroll. But when they did the CD version, they're like, let's rename this The Scroll.
Yeah, even Pickledog's going, ugh, yeah, games with generic names. Not helped when, they reboot the franchise and, Doom, cough.
Oh, yeah, no, you just call it Doom 1. Motherfucker, that's not what it's called. I can show you the cover right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another game I just thought of, our talk about the BBC got it in my mind. There's a Doctor Who game called Destiny of the Doctors.
Several.
Well, there's one I'm thinking about called.
Is that the
Destiny
FMV one?
Yeah. Well,
I do kind of want to take a look at that.
Yeah, it is. It is FMV. I forgot about the Masters scenes. It's not all FMV, and it's not really an adventure game. It's more sort of it's first person. Well, it might be.
I have no problem with that in FMV Club. We will take it all.
Anyway, it's not on GOG. It's not on Steam. And granted, I haven't really looked lately to see if it's available online, which I am rectifying now. But yeah,
I might have
that's
some sources.
For obvious reasons. I have interests in that game, and I played it back when it originally came out. Loved it. But yeah, I don't know if that's even available. And the fact, there it is. I was just about to say, an Amazon link ain't even showing up. Oh yeah, there's one listing for $75.
That's not too bad, honestly. I mean, it's not great.
It is if
But
you're.
You may not realize this man has.
It is if you're me and you don't know what money is.
I've got it. I own it. I've got it in my my secret places. Yes.
Uh-oh.
My secret places. It's mine.
That's really the first thing that sprung to mind. Okay. Yeah. Cool beans.
Pickle Dog says Portal's original incarnation was called Narbacular Drop, a name picked specifically because it produced 0 Google results at the time. I mean,
Google back.
It would work.
Yes.
Or does that only return itself? I forget the official definition of a Google back, but a good way to name your game to ensure. Yeah. Oh, returns exactly 1 hit. My apologies. So not a Google back, but probably an interesting marketing tactic if it can be spelled.
Yeah, I think Pickle Dog has done it. Pickle Dog is coming through on this chat. He's contributing more than the 3 of us, so I think if it's all the same to you, we're just going to turn it over to him.
Yeah.
In our ear right now.
So
I don't know if I've got anything else to say on Abandonware other than I think it is good. And if somebody comes along with the rights who actually wants to sell the software in question, also good.
Yeah. I think
if they actually have legitimate right to it.
Legalities aside, however you want to take that, I think we can all agree Abandonware is generally a good idea. I mean, I don't think
Grimaslab's entire career to it.
Yeah, I don't think any of us. Well, again, is that Abandonware or freeware? Or no, he said yeah. I remember.
He was inspired by everything that he had played. So, technically, so am I. But
he did mention getting the Orion conspiracy off of Home of the Underdogs.
Yes.
So I can never forgive him for that.
I mean, if he wants to torture himself like that, that's up to him. It's a table.
Yeah, but does he have to bring it to me? As RESULKA has said, it led to me being involved in all of this. So really, I can't complain.
And
it's wonderful that I played that game.
Of the Orion conspiracy.
No,
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
According to someone in the chat who may or may not have said something before, it does tend to get the rights holders to actually re-release their stuff. So there is some good that comes out of it. You might not necessarily see any of us promoting it, like it's on an Abandonware site, go download it. But I think it is still generally a good thing, which is kind of weird. It's good, but we're not going to be telling you to go do it anytime soon. So
I'm fine with telling you that. Cat.
Well, I'm still a little questionable. Maybe that'll change.
Cat.
There's a cat on the screen, so I think we're gonna move on to the plug section.
Cat.
RESULKA's got her cat to plug. That came out wrong. IKIFOO, what you got coming up? Anything?
Well, I may have mentioned it at some point, but I've been dealing with a old man back for the past week or so. So I think it was actually last time I realized that Gibbous was coming out and I would be reviewing that. That is still going to happen, but it has been a bit delayed due to not being able to get out of bed on Monday and just bit delayed. It is coming.
Delayed due to old age. What?
Yes. Pretty much, yeah. But not necessarily old age, the state of being an old man. Capital A, capital N. It's a separate state from age or time. Just, you are an old man. There are certain traits that come with it.
Everybody in the chat's going, Gabriel, Kitty, yay! Dan Nassa goes, more dogs. My kind of man.
I was about to say ban him, but no, he loves cats too. That's fine. Okay. You can like both.
I would have unbanned him anyway, so ha! RESULKA.
Well, we regret to inform you the host of YAR Talk will be changing soon to another...
to Gabriel.
Yes.
The ratings will probably go up.
Yeah, tell us about the video games, Gabriel. What's
your opinion on Abandonware?
Yeah, what is your opinion on Abandonware?
Don't ask me.
He purrs, he likes it. Yeah, so basically, well, we're going to keep playing Genie's Curse tomorrow at stream, if everyone is available. I'm hoping so. Yeah, Gabriel leaves us now. On my channel, we've just finished up Dreamfall chapters, finally. And that means that my Thursday slots will probably be finishing off Quest for Glory 4 for the next 2 weeks, because there's 2 episodes left. And we're also doing The Joy of Adventuring with Dave, although I'm a bit behind on editing that. But so we are teaching Dave how to use Adventure Creator in Unity. The episode that's coming up is actually getting into Unity and making me realize how much I'd forgotten about setting up a project. But, you know, The Joy of Adventuring is all about reminding me how to do these things as well, because I have lots of things I want to get done in the next year.
It's a learning process for everybody.
It is a learning process for everybody.
And, you know, once you've got your set up, you don't necessarily remember how you set it up in the first place. So you have to go back to that. It's like, how did I do all of this?
Yeah.
And like you say...
like, what's it called? All the projects I was working on, I started 3 years ago. So it's not something I had been through recently.
I think something we need to add to our list of counters is how many times IKIFOO whaps his mic.
He's a cat. Leave him alone. But yes, I think the floating dot.
IKIFOO will have a new mic next time.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. He might need one. He or at least a new boom arm anyway.
Might need a new hand. Jesus.
Oh,
Sturdy fucker.
I mean, you brought that on yourself, dude.
I did.
Yeah. But the what's it called? They will have access to the floating orb in Genie's Curse. So, whether or not they decide to use it.
Meanwhile, over on my channel, as you may or may not have seen on my social medias, I've been conducting an experiment with one of my review shows, which I believe IKIFOO was sort of alluding to earlier, Low Budget Gaming. A little bit of history for you. When I first started out, Low Budget Gaming was all I did. It was the only show I had on the only channel I had, and so I released it weekly. And then I started doing other projects, had a Let's Play channel, started streaming, started doing this. And all my projects just sort of, they didn't fall by the wayside, but I didn't do them as regularly. And so I decided to try and get back to doing more regular content. And so I've been doing an experiment with Low Budget Gaming to see if I could do just that. And I can, it turns out. And that experiment is going to be coming to an end this weekend. I have made 3 episodes, each of them in 1 week. And they'll be getting released early to my patrons this weekend, and then over the course of the next week, they'll be going public. And then some point in the near future, you can look forward to a full season of Low Budget Gaming. So keep an eye out for that. And I think that does it for all of us, unless somebody has something else to add. Looks like RESULKA does.
Yeah, although it's not a singular thing. It is the Aussie takeover. We are doing that Australian Wednesday night, so it's generally European morning. And those who have been enjoying time zones, those who've been enjoying the European takeover, it's unfortunately on hold because Trolls is going to be over in America with PAX, and then just some general scheduling things. They will be back on September 12th, which is a date I definitely know. We don't need to go into why I know that date, but yeah. So yeah, but otherwise, we're currently playing Zork Grand Inquisitor in the Aussie takeover. We are.
And who will you be playing it with?
I will be playing it with the Wanderer 1990, and also finally, Darth Helmet 86 joins the fray. We lost him in Return to Zork, and we lost him in Zork Nemesis, but we finally got him in for the Grand Inquisition. He's not wearing trousers though, apparently. That's the meta story he's gone with.
I mean, I just assumed that was what was happening anyway. Zork is a pantsless land.
One last question from Dan Nasto to all of us. Name the game you're currently playing, and what do you think of it?
Gibbous, as it turns out.
Yeah.
And
and Gabriel Knight 3.
Yeah. I haven't collated my thoughts on that grand epic yet. Gibbous I'm liking. It is very pretty, and It is humorous, and it has a talking cat, so it's the best. It's not the best talking cat, though. That's still Mr. Bendite from Franbo. Oh, did I ever mention the local cat shelter? There, somebody, a cat came into there that was named Mr. Bendite.
Nice.
We went to see him. He was nice. But yeah, seems good. I will have more thoughts about it in a video. Fucking eventually.
Zolka?
Yeah, I'm obviously also playing The Dame is Loaded for FMV Club. And at the moment, every time I go to record it, I'm going like, oh shit, there's a lot of stuff happening in the next couple of episodes, and no one to record it with today. So, yeah.
Well, I'm here, but two people. No, we were hoping for more.
Kind of makes it look like kind of makes it look like no one wants to come to the club, but they all want to come to the club. They're just busy, and have reasons this week.
Incidentally, that's why there isn't a Scottish takeover of YAR stream, because otherwise it'd just be me coming up with different personas, talking to myself, and that way madness lies.
I mean, I can show it with my Scottish accent if you want.
Or we could just shut down the Twitch channel now to prevent that from ever happening. Frankly, I'm not sure I want to take that risk.
Yeah.
Dashboard.
No. Let's not get that trigger happy. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, we've been playing games and streaming games and making videos, although not so much today, except for this beautiful thing.
And yeah, I've just been playing the games for that aforementioned experiment, which I suppose I can go ahead and mention were Kingpin Life of Crime, Sherlock Holmes Secret / Case / Nothing at All, The Secret Earring. I've seen like 37 different titles for it. And Star Trek Starfleet Academy. And as to what I think of it, well, you shall find out soon enough. YouTube.com/Gemini does games, cough, cough. And
subscribe to Gemini does games, subscribe to Gemini does games, subscribe to Gemini does
while
games.
He does that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. So thanks to everybody that watching. Where is it? There we go.
What?
We'll see you next time here on Yard Talk. Bye-bye.
Bye.